purpose of the law was never to lower the prices of oil, Madam Speaker and members of this House. We from the opposition side here believe that the purpose of the law was generally to promote competition among the key players of the oil industry, as well as invite more other players, so as to determine market price. Sir, we believe that the
Ms. Speaker, you're arguing on the practicability of maintaining status quo of the law. You said earlier that the lowering of the prices of the oil is not one of the objectives, but isn't it that competition aims to reduce the prices of oil? So how can you reconcile those statements now?
Ma'am, what I meant was that at the onset of the face value of the laws, the purpose of the law was to promote competition, and as a result, it would actually result to the lowering of prices. But that was not the main intention of the law, Madam Speaker. It was just a natural byproduct of this competition. Now addressing the practicability of raising the constitutionality of this law, Madam Speaker, we believe that it is highly impractical for them to file a constitutionality case before the courts. Rather, we think that because there is a separation of powers, Madam Speaker and members of the House, we think that it is better for legislation to introduce another law rather than assailing the constitutionality of a perfect law. We do not concede, Madam Speaker, that this law is actually incomplete. We believe that for 12 years, Madam Speaker, this law has actually withstood two constitutional questions from the cases of Garcia versus Corona and Garcia versus Executive Secretary, Madam Speaker and members of the House. We believe that the law is complete in itself. It does not need to determine a fair price because its main purpose was to promote competition. And secondly, Madam Speaker, we believe that the law is complete in itself because it provides other avenues already provides avenues for the investigation of so-called cartelization or predatory pricing, Madam Speaker and members of this House. For 12 years, Madam Speaker, it has been available to everyone, Madam Speaker. A case filed. Any person can actually file a report with the BOE and the DOE and the DOJ task force if ever there was a lingering suspicion that there was indeed cartelization, Madam Speaker and members of this House. We from the opposition side here believe that it was fair price is actually never an element to impose these antitrust safeguards in the law, Madam Speaker and members of the House. We believe that the definition of a fair price is not necessary. It's not necessary for an oil company who is found guilty of cartelization or predatory pricing. And at the end of the day, we cannot actually. We believe that this law should be upheld. Yes, ma'am.
After 12 years of the effectivity of the law, have you ever encountered a situation where the penal provisions of the law is actually implemented? You mentioned other avenues that can be used.
Ma'am, that's precisely the point, ma'am, that these avenues have actually been available, but to this date, there has not been any petition yet. So for 12 years, it has been available, but it is not, we believe, ma'am, that is not a problem of the law. The law is complete in itself. Maybe it is a problem of implementation, Madam Speaker.
Okay, Gans, 2 minutes now to interpolate Jo Marie.
Good evening, Madam Speaker. Are you for the retention of the oil deregulation law in toto, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you mentioned a while ago about RA 8479 that had withstood two cases of unconstitutional or two petitions of unconstitutionality.
Yes, sir.
Are you not aware that the cases you mentioned in which RA 8479 had withstood, it was not resolved based on the constitutionality of the law?
Yes,
because
sir.
The court opted to resolve because accordingly it is not its turf.
Yes, sir.
It has no
It is
jurisdiction.
not
Yes
disturbed.
or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's not disturbed.
So why did you say that it withstood the two petitions of unconstitutionality?
Precisely because it is not required for the
Okay,
Supreme
Madam
Court.
Speaker. thank you. Does RA 8479 provide for a standard that determines whether or not oil price is fair and reasonable? Yes
No,
or
it
no?
does not, sir. But we do not
But you
need.
mentioned about that the law also, or the law provides already a fair price mechanism. Is there a determinant on that?
No, sir, because it is actually.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree
determinable
that
on
there
extraneous
is... Okay,
factors,
next question.
Madam
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Do you agree that there is a need to have a fair price standard in the existing law, RA 8479, yes or no?
No, sir, I vehemently
Okay,
disagree.
thank you. Is the public not being affected by the increase of oil price, yes or no?
Yes, sir, they are.
Is the interest of the public more important than the interest of the oil companies or private corporations?
Yes, sir, I
or no?
agree.
Can the government regulate the oil industry in order to promote public interest? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, the
Okay,
regulation
thank
is
you very
for
much,
public
Ms.
interest.
Madam Speaker. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you all very much. May I now invite both sides to cross the House as our judges tally the scores. Square off the CBC law debates will return after these